Word. And I am. And he just described me in the opposite. Bizarro version of J-Steed.
It's that introverted, perverted youngin' from out that BX. J-Steed.
The extraordinary Robyn Stern.
And the problem solver. Mr. Every Night.
So, every night. Let's start it off every night. I tried to write out for long. Notice. This is to the ghetto lifestyle. Okay. Talk on it. I'm not gonna hold you.
Hey, what's going on? It is the dark-skinned marksman, unforgettable one, J-Steed, and I'm joined by...
Notebook big.
Mr. Every Night, the man with the Infinity Stone.
And I am the extraordinary Robyn Stern.
And we are Rat Pack Media, and we have a special guest today, hailing from, Orlando, Florida?
How dare you, Tampa.
Tampa. What's going on? Tin Man?
What's up, y'all? I'm a longtime fan. I think I called once into your older show, but I'm an avid listener. I'm a big fan, so thanks for having me on
fan
today.
from back in the days of Rat Pack Radio. Love it. So how you doing?
So, what was your favorite episode so far?
I have to say, I'm really liking this Corona series that you guys are doing. You guys are attacking it from different angles, and I think it's important for the folks out there to hear kind of what's going on. So,
all right. Didn't think anybody cared enough because Robyn Stern was so corona'd out. Even though I thought this series was very informative, but what do I know, right?
Yeah. You guys are definitely keeping it fresh, and I was actually just listening to yesterday's episode with Suge, and he was giving the hot take on him being a corrections officer, and that's a really important perspective to have too. You know, sometimes we forget, us on the outside, we forget how life is in there, and that's all important to keep in mind. So,
all right, smart man. So how's life in Florida? How's things been with this whole quarantine situation?
I gotta tell you guys, Florida is like, it's a different animal entirely, and
we are aware.
Yeah, it's a weird place because people forget that it's still like we're still in the South per se. It's like the only state where like the further north you go, the further south you are. So we have this kind of weird dynamic, and that also drives in a lot of the policies and a lot of the decisions that are being made by the people in charge. So, you can't really mention the conditions of what's going on down here without kind of delving a little bit into the whole politics situation, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're kind of dealing with. So yeah, Florida is known pretty much as a purple state, and for the most part, it's a mix of a red and blue, so a mix of Republican and Democrat. Mostly by territory, the state is Republican, but you have the pockets of the bigger cities like Orlando, like Tampa, like Miami, like Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, where you see a lot of Democrats, where you see the dense population, you see more Democrats in there. So that trickles all the way up to the decision maker. So our governor, for example, is Republican, and the city of Tampa, our mayor here is Democrat. Miami has a Republican mayor. Why do I mention all that? I mention all that because a lot of the decisions that were made in regards to the orders for stay at home, quarantine, shutting down the businesses, etc., they were made very, very, very late in the game, and they were made kind of halfway. They were made reluctantly, and of course that had an effect on how people, the general population down here, reacted on it. So I said before, Florida's a weird place,
to say the least.
So the mayor of Tampa, she put a stay-at-home order. The beaches were still open, right? The beaches were still open. People were still going to the beach, like if nothing was going on. People were still congregating, like if nothing was going on.
So the spring break.
Yeah, that was something that, like, that footage there, that really had the governor pressing the gas on trying to shut everything down after that came out. But again, that took time, and that kind of affected people, in getting infected and preparing their businesses and so on and so forth. So the latest thing that happened was that Easter just passed, and a whole bunch of churches were open, and a whole bunch of people went to church. A whole bunch of people got sick because they kept on going to church, and the mentality of this, which again blows my mind. And just a reminder, some of y'all call me Flanders because
I was just about to ask, did you go to church?
So you're gonna get a different perspective today on today's show, because yes, I am Christian. Yes, I live down here. Yes, I'm a former New Yorker, and yes, I'm a family man. So you're gonna get a whole bunch of different, stuff that you guys don't usually hear.
All right, but you kind of skipped over my question. Did you go to church, Mr. Flanders?
I did not. Haha. See, here's the funny thing is that all the pastors 5 years ago, 10 years ago plus were all rebuking the spirit of internet and saying Facebook was the devil and Instagram was, giving bad spirits in people's phones and all that other stuff. And all of a sudden now every service is online, every service is on Zoom, every service is on Facebook Live. We all logging in and, doing our thing in there. So
I mean, but didn't God make Satan, so he's not all bad, right?
Listen here. What you do with these devices in your private time is a different conversation.
Okay. I was just going to ask, how do you feel about social media and Christianity? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen. I consider myself a very modern Christian. I consider myself, I base my beliefs less on the traditional stuff, especially nowadays, and more on, like, I try to connect with what's real. And
but if that's
something
the case,
that's good
why
for
are you reading
then
the Bible?
Really, we're gonna have that conversation on air?
I'm just playing with you, man.
Really?
I'm just.
Can we work our way up there?
Wait, before we move forward, drink check. So what's in everybody's cup right now? We'll start with Robyn.
I have, let me see if you can see this. I made myself a blackberry mojito. It's too much reflection, but can you see it? All the leaves? But that's what took me so long.
That's what took so long.
Sorry.
Okay, cool.
All right, every night.
I got some water
And
some nips, some 99 bananas.
awesome. Tin Man.
So I went with the smart water for now, but we're praying real hard to turn this into a miracle. While we're still on air, we're gonna see what happens.
Praise due to Jesus. And I'm just drinking white Hennessy and some apple juice. So for our listeners at home, we are phoning it in on Zoom. So please like, share, subscribe, join the tribe. It only helps the show grow. Have any comments, please email us at ratpackradioNYC@gmail.com. The subject line, please put the name of the show so we know what you're talking about. All right, continue. Sorry.
So no, I was just we were talking about the whole people wanting to congregate even though this quarantine is in full effect, and again that kind of just highlights the mentality of a lot of people in this part of the country, where they're like, well, I it's my right to go to church. I want to go to church. I want to congregate. I want to worship. If it's okay for a Walmart, this is the mentality. If it's okay for the Walmart to be open and for people to go there, it should be okay for me to go to church. And of course, that's not the healthiest way of going about things.
Yeah, Walmart is an essential place. You need to buy your toiletries and food from Walmart.
Right.
You don't go there to church and get these stuff.
Right. On the contrary, the people in the South like to hang out at Walmart.
Yeah, but people right now,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But a lot of people are also practicing distancing right now. People aren't literally, next to each other, thighs touching thighs, and coughing directly on top of people. So it is kind of a difference.
Right. So to that point, I want to say that we have the advantage here, and again, I've been listening to all your guys' episodes on the COVID-19 situation, and I think almost everyone that you guys have spoken to live in New York, and you guys have to deal with the very close proximity, even as to like where you live, right?
No,
I'm the
only exception.
oh, nice.
I'm in New York, but I'm not like in the city or the boroughs. I'm in my own house.
You are in the boroughs. What are you talking about? You're in a borough.
That's what I said. I'm in the boroughs, but I'm not on top of each other. I'm not like in apartment buildings.
That I started
she's on a casting couch.
So I'm gonna just say I'm not supposed to know what the casting couch is. So we're just gonna
I know.
fly over that one.
I was like, man is familiar.
Yeah, let's just say I haven't been the man that I am now all my life. Yeah, we have a lot of room to like spread out. Right. We have a lot of square footage. It's very common to have a house down here, to have your own, even if it's a townhome, it's your own space. You're not, you're not dense. You're not close.
Right.
That being said, I just looked up. I think it was last week. The situation of people testing positive by zip code. Turns out my zip code is the highest zip code in the Tampa Bay area.
Wow.
For people testing positive.
But is it really is it really high? Like what's the number?
It's high. It's high in comparison. You have to remember that the Florida numbers and the New York numbers are not gonna be anywhere near each other.
Right.
I mean, you guys are like I think you guys passed like 10,000 deaths.
Yeah.
So it's not comparable. I think we're at 1,000 in the state, if that. But that being said, if you take into account how much space we have down here, and this is still happening, it's still alarming. And not to mention the fact that again, just like New York, you have predominantly minorities getting hit with this situation. And yeah, I mean it's one thing I wanted to mention to you guys when I was hearing one of your episodes is that we have to also factor in the fact that most people have health insurance through their job, and B, a lot of folks that were laid off were minorities that lost their health insurance as a result. And there are going to be a lot of studies coming out now, but
it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
My guess is that the health care coverage and the insurance coverage is going to have a lot to do with who gets treated, how much they get treated, and when they get released, and what the success rate is for mortality on that. Yes, Miss Stern, like as if I'm hosting the show today.
Yes. I mean, thank you, Tin Man. Thank you, Tin Man, for gracing me with a few minutes to talk. Okay, I manage more than one hospital, one in the city and one in suburbia. People are getting sent back equally. And I feel like it's more concentrated in the city, which is where the minorities are, because the minorities aren't on if you remember Long Island, if you remember the city, upstate in Long Island, that's where most of us stayed in the city, in the 5 boroughs for the most part. I think that's why, and we can't help it. And also it's a denser population. It's going to be a majority of us being sick if the majority of us are there. It's undeniable. Brooklyn is mainly black, except for, like Bensonhurst, a couple of spots in Coney Island, like little speckles where they have their neighborhoods, you know what I mean, in Ocean Park where the Jews are, you know what I mean, in Williamsburg where the Jews are, and not for nothing, you know, that they're being, they're just as, you know, their contagion rate is through the roof, you know what I mean, because they keep congregating, they don't care. I feel like I hate when people keep saying it's, you know, like it's an attack on us, and I'm black. You know what I mean? So it's not that I'm not sensitive, because we're turning, because in my other hospital where the population isn't as diverse, we're sending people home just as much. And as a matter of fact, one of my coworkers, they were talking about, you know, like her neighbor, and she needs help, lacking melanin, and they sent her home, and her husband's oxygen is on 80. You know, I don't want to get into the HIPAA. But he was about to die. They sent him home, so she drove her to another hospital. I'm telling you, everybody's getting turned away equally. And it's just, people talk about it so much because people only care about the 5 boroughs. Don't nobody give a shit what's going on in Albany. Through all of this, you hear Cuomo, you know, you ain't never hear him talking about what's going on in Orange County. You only hear about what's going on in the 5 boroughs, and you never hear what's going on in Suffolk. And there's just as many people dying there too.
Or Westchester, for that matter.
Yeah.
And I say that with a heavy heart because I spent a good amount of time in Westchester when I used to live.
Well,
so
to the contrary, that's not 100% true, because they do talk about New Rochelle.
So yeah, I was about to say New Rochelle. If to my understanding, New Rochelle ended up being one of the first very, very hot spots.
Yeah,
that actually had a lockdown zone.
Yeah, they were the first ones. That's why.
That being said, I want to make sure that to clarify on what you mentioned, Robyn. I don't want to say that I'm a conspiracy theorist to say that this is predominantly happening as a specific attack to minorities. I'm just stating that the statistics show that this is affecting, you know, brown and black people by scale way more than it's affecting non-minorities. And, you know, again, I can't speak to any study because nothing is finished, you know, barely anything is started. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays a part in the treatment, in detection, in testing, in all that stuff. See, down here, we don't have as many resources as you guys have in New York. And as I understand it, you guys have had in New York your time periods where you guys are turning folks away from hospitals, or you guys have been lacking the proper amount of tests or PPEs to get the actual work done. You know, right now is when we're hitting those numbers where we don't have tests. We're you know, people in Florida, the hospitals in Florida are turning people back. I have friends of mine that live down here that are showing clear symptoms that are getting diagnosed and treated for without getting testing because they don't want to waste a test.
Probably not an excuse at all, but just in general, I know probably because if they don't need to be intubated, well, that might change now, because I don't know if you know, and Steve, were you paying attention to the news? Like yesterday, our totals were about 65 or 64, something like that, and now today is 10,000, because there was like 35 people uncounted for that might have died in their homes, and these were people that they had wound up. You know, some people, you know, were sent back home. So, you know, what they thought was, you know, well, if they're not, if they don't need oxygen and don't need to be intubated, there's nothing that we could do here, because we're not, you know, there's no real treatment. You know, we're giving them things that might have helped for, you know, SARS a couple of years ago, but not necessarily we have a medicine for, you know, COVID-19. So I think that was the mistake, because now we have 3,500 overnight, you know, that were all in their homes. And now, you know, so now they might change that. Now they might be forced to admit people. And I've seen that across the board, because the network that I work for, like I said, I have more than one hospital, but the network has 20-something hospitals, mostly on Long Island and mostly with non-melanin people. So I see it on both sides. And trust me, they are those refrigerated trucks at every hospital. Don't get it packed. Don't get it to it's at every hospital. Right. So I just think that they will start changing that now. I hope they start changing that now, turning people away.
All right, I got a like a 3-part question.
Mm.
Are you heading out at any time during this? And
So I'm
if so,
doing. Yeah, go ahead.
And if so, how is the shopping? Is it like really packed? And what are you doing as you go out there to prepare to be out there?
So in where we live right now, so it's the living situation is my wife and my 2 kids, and my son who's 8 years old, he's asthmatic, and we are doing our best to not take any chances, especially for his sake. So we're extremely careful to try to follow the guidelines as close to a T as possible. That being said, there are times where, like, if I want to go take a walk, I'll take a walk, I'll, do my social distancing. But like in my neighborhood, there's nobody out and about. It's just me. And if I see somebody, approaching or whatever, I just get away and I come back. But that's just so that I won't lose my sanity. And then, there are every other night or whatever I go, well, before this curfew, I used to go out on my jogs, as I'm trying to take this time to like try to get into shape or try to not gain weight. Pretty
All right,
much.
so wait, let's bring it back to my question.
Yeah, but about
Is
the
there a
shopping, though,
curfew?
about the shopping.
So to J-Steed's question, there is a curfew. There's a curfew that was instituted as of this week because of Easter, because of the whole debacle of people going to church and basically disobeying every city ordinance that there was. They put a curfew in place, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. So in my county, 9 p.m., if they see you out and about, either in your car or on foot, they can arrest you.
Ooh.
And they will enforce it, and they've already warned it, and they're being pretty serious about it.
All right, every night, go ahead.
So to your question every night about the shopping, we try to limit the shopping to like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And the shopping here is different. More than likely it's different than what you guys are experiencing in New York, because even though it's not as dense, and then you have certain stores that are limiting the amount of people that they have indoors at the same time, you have supplies and you have products that you will not find.
You will not what?
You will not find.
Okay.
You won't find
Toilet
Clorox,
tissue?
Clorox wipes. So toilet tissue was, you laugh, but unfortunately we had a hard time finding toilet tissue up in here for the last couple of weeks. This week was the first week that we saw just like toilet tissue out and about and available, and
Wow.
we went about, we bought a 20 pack or whatever it
Yeah.
was. We didn't go OD like some of these people, but yeah, I mean, like it was really good. So toilet tissue, Clorox wipes, disinfectant, hand sanitizer, all that stuff, you won't find it down here. You won't find it here. You won't find it on Amazon. You won't find it for delivery, unless you have some special sort of hookup, whatever you got in your house that's left over from last year or whatever, that's it.
I noticed that. Have any of y'all, Steve, every night, have y'all experienced that too? Because I haven't been able to find. I found Clorox 1 or 2 places for the most part, but like when you need sanitizer for your hands, I haven't found any sanitizer. And I know you can use just alcohol, rubbing alcohol, improvise. And if you have a spray bottle, use that to spray. But I can't find alcohol. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah, I was just out earlier today. I couldn't find any bleach whatsoever, so I had to kind of I had to settle for like pine salt.
What about alcohol?
Alcohol, I wasn't looking for alcohol, so it wasn't even on my
No.
list. Yeah, I'm pretty good for alcohol anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah, we didn't have any real trouble looking for those stuff.
See, I'm having the trouble because I need it. You see, you're staying home, Steve. I still go out, so I need alcohol like sanitizer.
Right.
And then I have to spray my mask because the mask. Do you have a mask, Mr. Tin Man?
I do, yeah. So we have
Okay.
we have a set of cloth masks that we got and we tested, and we actually we live and die by those things down here. Anytime we do need to leave the house, like I use my hoodie as a PPE. I put my mask on. I put glasses on, and I have gloves left over from last year. And we don't. I love that you mentioned that when you get in the door, you basically get rid of your clothes and you put them straight in the wash. That's exactly what we're doing down here, and those are the guidelines.
You show us the proper way to do that.
Tin Man, get up, show him. You gotta show him how, Tin Man.
Listen,
Tin Man,
y'all not paying me enough on this episode.
All right, so Tin Man, you mentioned that you are a family man, right? So with this quarantine, how is that working with you and the kids and the wife? Okay. Sounds like some shit.
So let's just say, yeah. I mean, patience is being tested.
All right. I mean, well, let's talk about the kids. Like, how are you entertaining the kids?
So the kids, just like your kids, I'm sure, or your kid, Steed.
Well, I mean, you would have been wrong by saying kids if you rejected that to everything.
Wait, whoa! I know Steve left some milk in somebody.
Okay.
Bad.
I can't be the only one.
Immaculate conception. No, so the kids are busy with their distance learning and their, we have everything set up on their iPads, and I think weeks 1 and 2 for them were like the hardest for us, because we had to get them in a routine and a daily schedule, and and on top of that, I had my work to do because I'm working from home now as well. My wife got laid off from her job because she's a teacher, and it was a private school and they just closed down for the year.
Oh wow.
So there goes that. And by the way, shout out to anyone that's in that situation that received their stimulus check today. I don't know if y'all received y'all's, but listen, I had no idea. I wasn't expecting anything.
Listen, that's a free month of rent, baby.
I got a call from my father this morning, and he was like, because our last name starts with A, so he was like, hey, did you check your account? And I'm like, for what? He's like, yeah, the stimulus check. I hear that they started alphabetical, so we're up today. Today's our day. And I checked my account, and sure enough, it was there. And sure enough, I told my wife, and sure enough, she took it all. So there's that.
Wow.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yay.
All right, so since we there, let's speak on it. I mean, is there any strain on the relationship with this?
Of course, man. Of course, bro.
All right.
I can't I'm locked up in here 24/7, 365. I get 1 hour of freaking yard time. Yes. Yes, I'm in a dry house right now.
1 hour, that's not.
The closest thing I get to having a sip is sniffing this isopropyl alcohol here. I'm not having a good time.
Well, you do look slimmer.
Thank you.
I do say.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it's all like coke, right?
Yeah, it's
what?
Wait, I'm sorry.
You didn't deny it.
You
didn't deny it.
No, don't. This is not. This that's not that side. This is not that part of Florida. No, sir.
Oh man, so
that's
right,
further down south.
Since we talking about the strain on relationships, that there has definitely been an increase in domestic violence with this whole quarantine lock-in. What's it like down there in Florida? I mean, I don't really check the news rags for you.
Listen, man, I was tempted to call 911 a couple of times already. My wife is Puerto Rican from the South Bronx, and she's very trained in jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga, bro.
Wow.
A hard life down here, man. No, I think overall the last time that I checked, that's one of those stats that overall nationwide, the calls for domestic violence seem to be on the rise. This is something that obviously is gonna test everyone's patience, everyone's relationship. Yeah, I mean, you're basically locked in, in your house arrest, sure, but like, it's a stressful situation. A lot of us have either our hours cut down, we're hurt financially, we're stressed, and then, we're locked in with another person or people in a very confined space. Of course, there's gonna be some of that, unfortunately. And Florida's, as you guys can imagine, no different.
Yeah, nobody can hear you scream. With the
Right.
distancing.
Right, or they could just feed you to a tiger down here, and then that'll be that.
Carol fucking Baskins.
Carol Baskin,
A tiger or a gator, right?
the tiger or gator. That's right, sir. That's right.
You guys got falling iguanas where you at?
If we have what? Iguanas?
Falling iguanas.
I'm not familiar.
Well, look at-
Like when it got cold. You remember it was cold down there for a little bit, and the
Yeah.
were like falling out from the trees.
Yeah. Anything that's cold blooded down here, once it passes, like once it gets below 55, everything starts freaking out down here.
Ooh.
All right, so
But then, you know what the crazy part is? They probably come back with a vengeance the next year around because there's less competition. So they're probably breeding and there's no competition.
Absolutely.
So you got pythons down there too, right?
Yeah, we got pythons, we got panthers, we got.
All right, Tin Man, let me stop. That could have been a nice setup for a joke, and you did not take it. What's wrong with you, young man? Asked about
Listen, man,
down
You were supposed to say mine.
Asked about
like, yeah,
pythons
mine.
down there. That was so pause-worthy, and you could have caught him.
Because he's Oakley Dokley.
He's ordinary. No.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I think my pastor may listen to this episode one day.
Oh my God. He has no business.
Hey, wait, and
watching
your pastor's
this
gonna be
show.
like, why you ain't see that? Why you ain't pause him?
Oh man. So what else is going on in Florida, Tim, man? Like, talk to us.
Nah,
You know
man,
what?
just a whole bunch of.
How's your job going? I mean, you get to work from home, but layoffs is happening across the board in this country.
Yeah.
Are you in fear?
I am okay for now, but as you can imagine, I'm not out of the woods. So I'm really one of the lucky ones. I work in the legal industry, and one of the top 20 law firms in the country. And I think for the most part, it sounds like we were getting ready for something crazy like this. So I think we're gonna be okay, but there's still gonna be a lot of changes. They're cutting a whole bunch of spending and whatnot, but payroll is like the last thing that they're looking at. So that's good.
Yeah.
How many Spanish people work at your job?
Not many to be honest with you, out of our Tampa location. But I will tell you that if you live in Florida and you don't have, like, if your job doesn't tie into like a national situation in any way, shape, or form, you're automatically in trouble right now. So the amount of people that I personally know down here that just straight up got laid off, their office closed, and they cannot work from home is a staggering amount. I'm talking about single parents, single mothers with their kids, and they just got told one day, listen, this COVID-19 situation shut us down, and we can't afford to continue paying you. We have to let you go, and rent is due next week, so good luck.
Well, chicks can always make money.
So, Thin
You
Man.
see them on Facebook Live. You see them on Instagram.
No, fans only. Thin Man. Let me ask you.
She got a cash app.
Yeah.
Word.
Wiping your nose. Okay, so let me ask you this. See, I told you I'm ratchet. Anyway, did the mayor down there, did they stop or pause the rent?
No, they didn't. There's been no. So that's the thing, is that financially, there's been very little talk of any type of relief as as per the political leaders in power right now,
Wow.
there hasn't
Okay.
been any talk of that. Like, just in case, God forbid, something happened, I talked to my mortgage company, and they're like, look, the most we can do is give you 3 months to catch up, and after those 3 months,
Wow.
it is what it is.
See, that's so crazy because my mortgage company, they said that they're tagging the 3 months to the end of the term. So,
Okay. Wow.
I mean, I'm still paying, but I know that that's what they're doing.
Yeah, but for a lot of folks that are in bad situations right now, that would have made the difference between life and death,
Yeah.
between being able to get groceries or not.
Mhm.
But again, this kind of highlights, and I kind of put myself in that situation too. This really talks to us of how important it is to have that rainy day fund, which a lot of us
Don't
never
have.
really learn how to do, learn how to do regularly, and kind of put as part of the budget into everyday life.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that because there's so many people. I think my brother, we were talking about it. This is common saying, but a lot of people are a paycheck away from unemployment. I mean, a paycheck away from, not having rent, to homeless.
Right.
Like a paycheck away from homelessness. People live check to check, and that's common. That's common. That's not even
and that's something that I think is ingrained in a lot of us, and maybe like the way we were raised, or whatever it is, that we lack that knowledge to get those good habits financially, and that's one of the things that I'm really gonna be working on, once we all recover from this, to really get better at. And a lot of us that really have like responsibilities like kids and a house to pay for and all that other stuff, I mean, it's not a good look, when you still have a good job, you're making good money, and you're still living check to check because you're living out of your means. It's not good.
Don't judge me.
I'm talking about myself.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Wait, hold up, real quick. We gotta take a moment to admire Mr. Every Night Spy Clip. Look at this man, styling on him right quick. Look at him, styling on him.
I told you I
Look
put
at that
the Infinity Stone on.
I see. So Tin Man, when you gonna be up in New York again so we go get this drink?
Listen, we gotta work something out, man, because I am just about ready. So once let's say this, once your governor announces that we got the all clear, I'll put that trip on a credit card against my own financial
advice. It sounds like it's gonna
advice.
happen May 1st.
You think so?
That's what they're really going hard for right now. They're talking about soft openings for certain companies right now.
Every night, here's your chance.
I know. I love a soft opening.
Get him, dog.
I like how he alley-ooped it. He was like, my pastor might be listening.
Right?
Word.
I'm a team player, man. I'm a team player.
Yeah, but not for nothing, man. You
Wait, I'm like, but are you?
Come up off that. You gotta come up off that BS that the K-Man be on and come to the hood sometimes, man.
Word, man.
Yeah, the hood is calling me. I feel like the hood is calling me. I need some more. Amongst my people.
Word. And then on top of that, I need some Dominican fried chicken.
On the pool hall.
You.
Y'all missed out on the pool hall action.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Pool hall closed down.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. But you know what though? Like even when I go back, I've been out of New York now for, it's gonna be 10 years this November, and even when I go back to my old neighborhood, it's gonna be 10 years. And
no, you was just up here.
No, I mean when I moved.
Oh.
Yes, it's okay. He'll catch up.
I've been drinking.
You ain't see how he was going back from
I've been
nips?
drinking.
You ain't see how he threw back them nips?
So no, like even when I go back to when I'm back in town for work or whatever, when I go back to my old neighborhood to visit my grandmother or whatever up in Dykeman, like even Dykeman has changed so much. Like I go up there and we talking about, this was the height of like the all the different epidemics together in the late 80s, early 90s. all the way to the coming into the 2000s. I go back there now, and like I look up, I see a Starbucks, I see sushi places, I see artisanal cheese spots or whatever. And I'm like, yo, this is just a different neighborhood now. Everything's changed.
Yeah, it's called gentrification.
Yes, sir.
They're moving on up.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm assuming at this point we have no more questions from Mr. Tin Man, right?
Yeah.
Unless anybody who just wants to shoot the shit with the man while we have him.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so Tin Man, you in these streets fucking these bitches?
What?
Question.
What?
He's like, I hope nobody heard that.
Question.
You guys are something else, man. You guys are something else.
Sanitize.
Listen, I will say that I am very, very happy for you guys in your new launch of this version of the show. I really, really wish you guys much success out there.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I can't wait to listen to more of what you guys got.
So
Thank
besides the COVID episodes, which ones are episodes you like?
So I have to go back. I just started listening to the COVID series, but I have to go back to the previous ones to kind of.
Yeah, you gotta hear the raw
Blue
stuff,
streams.
unrefined.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue
Gets a little
streams
rough.
and herpes is kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw that title. I'm like, like I have to find some time like away from the kids, just pop it in my ear, nobody else around me,
How often
But,
do you
yeah.
have to go to work? Do you still have to go? You don't have to go to work, right?
No, I'm not going into the office. I'm working
So
remotely.
you're working from home. So you guys should find some time. Listen, catch up on us.
Yeah,
Catch
for
up.
sure.
Get a little raw.
So yeah, like Robyn Stern is suggesting our listeners, you're at home, you're quarantined, so why not binge out on some old Rap Pack Media episodes? I don't see why not. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, join the tribe. It only helps the show grow.
Mr. Tin Man, what nationality are you?
He's
I
white.
am Dominican. Relax, buddy. Relax. I took a DNA test. Okay.
He's
All right.
Italian. Forget about it. Forget about it.
No. Both my parents are from the Dominican Republic. Yes.
He's a Dominican Negro.
Yeah, but don't tell that to the TSA. And
You speak Spanish or not really?
Please.
yeah. I speak Spanish.
Okay.
TSA gonna stop him because he don't think he's an Aki. Get out of
Wow.
here.
Yeah, you see this over here. This beard doesn't help me out one bit when I travel.
Do you normally have a beard and mustache or now? Just now because it's.
I normally have like something, to
Okay.
varying sizes, or whatever. But yeah, like every time I'm in the airport, it's a miracle. I get randomly selected for additional screening, even nowadays, and these
I wonder
Pocket's
why.
pocket.
Yeah, I'm
Tell us
over here
the
talking shit.
cootie
I'm looking
tickler.
like a wild Muslim right now. I did get stopped. Now that I think about it, holy snap! That's probably why I got stopped in the damn airport.
He said, "Holy snap!" What?
Well, when I had my
Hanging around
hair,
you too much.
when I had my
my
dreads and I was working with the parks
Flandersness is
department,
rubbing off, man.
when I had my dreads and working with the parks department, and I had my full thick beard, they dead pulled our vehicle over, even though it said NYC Parks. They pulled us over because I was in the front seat.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the whole thing
Wow.
about looks.
That's what they saying. You Negroes ain't got that kind of privileges to be up front. Yeah, let me tell you guys an interesting story about Tin Man right here. Right
Oh God, here we go.
now,
Yeah,
you
boy.
guys don't know, but I worked with this guy on at least 2 occasions. Right. I'm not gonna talk about the first one. That
Oh
one.
no, you got to talk about the first one.
No, I can't. I can't talk about it. But
Oh, my God.
I'm talking about the second one, right? At this point, he and I were both working in the same law firm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he gets there, this guy didn't remember me from nothing. I'm walking by him. He still couldn't
Because you
remember.
look like all of us.
Yeah. Mind you, I worked with this guy at the last place for at least maybe 5 or 6 years, right? Still didn't recognize me. So I call him over to my desk. And I was like, yo, you really don't remember me? I was like, yo, we worked at the same spot. Boom, boom, bam, right? So let's fast forward to, I get the word where they said, hey, we don't need your services anymore. You gotta go. I'm like, oh, snap. So the boss lady decides that she's going to have a goodbye lunch for me, right? So she orders from this big old barbecue.
Oh no! Oh no!
So while we're eating, Tin Man says the dumbest thing ever. He says, hey, Steve, I think you should get fired more often if we could eat like this.
Oh!
Wow.
I'm sitting there like, did this guy really just say this stupid shit? I'm like, I'm dealing with baby mama drama. I'm in court. At this point, I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford my lawyer and all this other stuff I got to pay for. This man just said the most dumbest thing ever. And he knew my situation and said, you need to get
insensitive.
If we could eat like this.
Insensitive. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, where was the Christian in you? What would Jesus say that?
Oh no, at that time, it didn't matter. The Tin Man that you see right now is not the Tin Man back then. Tin Man back then was the Wild Man.
Woo, he was a wild boy. He's a wild boy. Okay.
Let's just say karma is getting back real nice. So I won't delve into details, but I'll tell you that the universe is correcting that wrong.
Wow.
Making it right.
Asshole statement of the century. Anyway, with that being said, I guess we can wrap this show. Any last words, Mr. Tin Man? Any advice to give our listener?
Nah, listen. Spread love, and be kind to each other. Seriously, we need it now. We need it now more than ever.
Love, should they wear a glove?
Yes, wear a glove when you spread, especially once this is over. Wear your gloves and be safe.
What kind of glove?
Really every night?
Wear your PPE for sure.
Really every night?
What kind of glove? No, y'all.
Moving on.
All right, so any last words from the pack?
Wash your damn hands.
Every day?
Wash your genitals.
Exactly. Wash your ass, wash your hands, stay away from people, stay true. And yeah. So with that being said, I am the dark-skinned marksman, J-Steed, and he is
Mr. Every Night, holder of the Infinity Stone.
And she is
Robyn Stern.
And our guest today was
Tin Man, aka Florida Man, at your service.
And this was Rap Pack Media. That's a wrap. Good night.